Hello, everyone, and welcome to MediaMelt, the show where we talk about the media that is supposed to melt our minds, or in the very least, tries to. I am, of course, your host, Dylan Strickland, and today let's talk about Marvel Studios' Eternals. Here with me is professional toe sucker Gabe Anderson. How are you doing, Gabe?
Dude, I'm afraid that my mom's going to watch one of these episodes one day and just get really scared by the intro. Not going to lie. But
You watch
otherwise, I'm
these?
doing great, man. Oh, God, no.
Good. Oh, fuck. She just goes, Gabe's a professional toe sucker? Um, no, but let me just give you a breakdown of how the show is going to go today, guys. We're just going to get straight into talking about Eternals. The little pieces will be time stamped in the description down below. So if you'd like to skip around to certain parts that we talk about, you definitely can. Don't forget, we're also on your podcasting app of choice, and don't forget to like and subscribe. But let's get right into it. Let's start with the overall story of Eternals. So, of course, it begins with the Eternals, essentially settling into the Earth.
Right.
And how did you feel about the opening scene? Like them basically just coming into Earth and then
That opening montage, I guess, was,
Mhm.
I think, my favorite part of the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
So go ahead and you didn't like it, right? I don't think so.
No. I overall, I thought it was a bad movie, especially for Marvel's standpoints, in terms of Marvel, right? For what it should be, it's bad. It's an okay movie overall. Like if you're to whatever blockbuster movie that was supposed to come out 15 years ago, this would have been fucking amazing. Right? But I think, it's Marvel, especially now that they have the whole Disney budget, they have this whole lineage that falls behind them. They know these movies are going to make money. And you could see the seams in this movie.
Does it just feel corporate to you or what?
I don't know. It just feels, it feels like this is just a carbon copy of, the last Avengers movie, except they threw in a new skin this time.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't think it was that bad. I think it's definitely a mixed bag, and I think it is it's going to be divisive. I feel like there's you're going to like it or you're not going to like it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree with you on that point.
So
not to say there weren't points I did not like. There were points I actually really liked about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, though, I thought it was just bad.
Yeah, I liked it, but I think it definitely has some problems. I wouldn't say that this is, as far as Marvel standard goes, I would put it I would definitely put it above some of the lower tier Marvel films. But I definitely think there's things in here that just personally weren't for me. But you liked the Eternals coming to Earth. You liked that opening scene where she makes the knife and whatever.
Exactly. Well, I think it was the one part where I genuinely laughed, and I think this just shows my sense of humor. But it's whenever the dad turns around, he goes, "Run!" I was like, "Oh, he's gonna get eaten."
Fucking
Then he gets eaten, immediately taken out, and then 3 seconds later, Gilgamesh punches it, or no,
Icarus.
Who took Icarus? Yeah, he killed it, and then they were like, "Yeah, here's a knife. I'm sorry your dad died. I wish we could have been here sooner."
Yeah, I mean, for real, the kid didn't even emote at all. That's a good point. Oh, it might have been because Druig did his thing. So maybe that's why the kid was like, oh, my dad died, but I don't really. You really didn't think.
Yeah, my dad died. Meh. Get a cool knife now. I am king, I guess.
After that, we cut to the future, and this is the first scene with Dane and Cersei. How did you feel about in the club, and you know what I'm saying, where they're talking and everything? How did you feel about that? What do you think?
Oh, with Kit Harington?
Kit Harington, yeah.
Yeah, Kit Harington, there we go.
The man who knows nothing.
Yeah, I thought that was so shoehorned in, dude. That whole relationship with him. It's like that is one thing I feel like they could have. Anything dealing with him, it was just like, oh, hey, by the way, he's Black Knight. That like literally, that was his whole point being there. It was literally for them to be like, it's the free real estate meme, but it's like Black Knight.
It's free real estate. Yeah. No, I do feel. I feel like. I feel like the creator is really like Chloe Zhao or whoever's writing it is really excited about Black Knight.
Yes.
And I think the thing with it is like I didn't really feel, at least me personally, with either of Cersei, especially in this opening scene, her connection to Dane. Cersei and Dane didn't really feel like the I love you at the end. I don't know. And Icarus too. I don't know what it was, but I just didn't really like it wasn't really portrayed in a way that was really for me. I don't know. I just didn't emote with it. Like I didn't feel
I feel like they didn't emote with it.
Yeah, I didn't feel like she was in love with either of them, honestly.
No,
Yeah, and I don't think it's the actress's fault. I think there's something.
It's the writing or caramel.
It may
it's
just
something.
be me. Like it honestly might just be me.
No,
because it was both of them. Like I was like, oh, okay. I don't really like. It felt more like both of them were boy toys.
Exactly. Like I didn't feel anything like from either one of them. If it makes it like in either relationship, there was no connection from either. It wasn't like, oh, obviously Icarus is in love with Cersei. I can see that. Like there are points maybe where like, oh, he cares for her, but it was never like I was in love with you, or I am in love with you. It was never to that point.
It was more like I didn't really feel that they were in love with each other. I just heard them telling each other they were in love with each other.
Right, exactly.
And I don't know if that's because we didn't necessarily see the beginning of we saw the beginning of Icarus, but it just felt kind of a little bit rushed, or at least for me. And Dane, we didn't see the beginning of that relationship, so we're dropped in like the middle of it. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay,
so what you just said explains every single character interaction throughout this movie.
Yeah, we'll get
to that more later. Yeah. But I just want to preface that before I say this about every single one. This is how I feel about the majority of them.
Is that we're all just dropped in and we missed it?
Exactly. It feels like. Because like whose perspective? I'll say that during my last.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Wrap up.
So and this is where Icarus comes in, which, even though I didn't really personally, buy into Cersei and his relationship or Cersei and Dane's relationship, all respectively, I thought they did a good job acting. I thought their role, they played their roles pretty well. But
Can I cut back to
earlier
in the storyline? Whenever it was showing Icarus and Cersei's relationship, or was that later on?
It's after.
Okay, yeah, because this movie skips around worse than
we'll get there.
Quentin Tarantino movie.
We got to talk about the sex scene, but
yes, that's what I was trying to allude to.
We'll get there. I marked it. But then this is with yeah. So this is where Icarus first shows up. And like I said, I believe they're I thought they acted it pretty well. As far as what they were given, I thought they did enough with what they were given. And I liked that Dane, he's figuring out that she's a superhero or whatever, and he's so unfazed by it. That was kind of refreshing because honestly, if you're a person in this universe, someone being a superhero isn't necessarily insane anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's finding out that your buddy's a really famous SoundCloud rapper.
Yeah. It's okay. Or he does a shitty YouTube podcast. It's finding out about.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can relate to that one.
But I liked that he was I don't really give a shit, or he was like you're not gonna move in with me because of this, and he wasn't really oh my god, you're this, how could this be happening?
But dude,
at this point in the MCU, it's not really special anymore.
No, but in character, in the back of his head, he's holy fuck, she's an immortal alien. Holy fuck, she's an immortal alien. Holy fuck, she's an immortal alien. You could feel that too. You could feel when she was finally telling her, he was he was joking about it to shrug it off, but you could kind of tell that he was what? Decision time.
Yeah. But anyways, Icarus enters, and I think, oh God, this feels terrible. Well, no, listen. As him as a villain, like him, or we'll get there. We'll talk more about it later. But I love Icarus in this movie.
I will say he's the most compelling character.
Well, I don't know if he's the most compelling for me. I mean, if he's that way for you, but I like, of course, the fucking white guy is like one of my favorites in the movie. Um, but I really liked.
Compelling as in character arc.
Yeah, I know, but I just thought it was ironic. Of course, I walk away going, "Oh, I fucking like the white guy." Like, like
Not my favorite though, in terms of like, we'll get
definitely he's not my favorite, but I thought he's like, he wasn't my favorite in the movie, but I thought he was on some fucking king shit. Like,
Yes.
I really fucking dug Icarus and like the story they told with him, and his opening scene where he just fucking pew and like comes in and like. And
cuts
then
it in half.
Yeah, he just walks out and like basically shrugs it all off. Like he just blew up an entire building, and he's like, "Hello, Sprite," or whatever. That's
hey, long time no see.
Yeah, for real. And well, let's move back real quick. How did you feel about Sprite's introduction? Like with the whole,
like her being kind of a third wheel to the whole, or like just her, it seemed like
at the club.
I didn't catch that at first. Like that they were friends. Like I was like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
You know, like she was very like, but I feel like this is a weird thing. Like, you know, playing devil's advocate. Like I do feel like that would be a cool way to introduce this character because she's always the one that's kind of overlooked. You know.
Yeah, that's good because
give him the benefit of the doubt.
I like that she was the one telling Dane like everything.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny where he was like, you know, the humor in this movie, there are parts that are really funny, but I do feel like it was not as good as Marvel typically is. Does that make sense?
Well, because it has a different tone than a lot of Marvel movies do, I feel like. Or it feels like it's trying to have a different tone than a lot of Marvel movies. But it still does like the Marvel quips. Or like, you know, like the dumb jokes. Like, anything that Kingo says, and we'll get to him later, is fucking hilarious.
Oh, he's great. We'll
like,
talk more about him later, but he's phenomenal. It's
like every character at some point or another tried to be the comic relief, and I feel like this did not need that.
I feel like it works really well in some areas, but I feel like in others, that's what I'm saying. This is, for me at least, it was missing more than it usually does. Like there are still moments where I was like audibly laughing out loud, but there are also moments where like you could tell it was like one of those Marvel jokes that I typically usually enjoy, but it just didn't quite hit the same way.
Exactly.
And it's in both my viewings. I've seen it twice, and in both of my viewings, I felt the same way about them. But yeah, and then
really? Nothing changed.
Nothing changed. Yeah, no, the scenes that I thought were funny. We'll get to it. Changed. Yeah. There are parts that I was okay with that I've kind of shifted a little more to the like. No, not really. Everything kind of stayed the same, honestly. Yeah, I got the same experience out of it. Besides, like the viewing experience, because the first time I watched it in IMAX, which I think was a fantastic decision. Because there are scenes that they shoot in IMAX, and it really does help. Like a lot of the action scenes, like in IMAX, are incredible, like jaw-dropping, and we'll talk more about it later. But the Arashim stuff.
The what?
When it's in the Arashim, is that how you pronounce it? The Celestial?
Oh, Arishin or Arishin?
His shit.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that is one thing that this movie gets right. Is scale. Oh, I bet.
1 second while I fix the monitor. Like it was utterly fantastic in IMAX. Like if you're gonna go see this movie, I highly recommend you go and see it in IMAX because the scenes that they do choose to do it with do work really well. But getting back on track, we move from the little interlude where Icarus gets reintroduced to the team to the first scene in Babylon, where Gilgamesh is fighting the dude at the wall, and it's like this giant fortress that's blue, and then it's the first time we see Arashim, the celestial I was just talking about.
That's right, because she's in her trance talking to him.
Yeah, Ajak has
right.
No, Ajak. It's back in the past.
Right.
Yeah. Ajak has her first conversation with Arashim, and the audience isn't really clued in to what they're talking about. Which I didn't notice at the first time, I guess just because I was like in awe of the spectacle, like of the celestial. But they literally outwardly tell you that there's a scheme happening between Ajak and Arashim. I didn't even notice that the first time I watched it.
Yeah, I forgot what she says, but it was like I remember her saying something. I was like, okay, that was weird.
He was like, the plan is still going according to plan, and she was like, I don't know if we should do that on this world.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's something different about it's something about the humans. They're different, or something like that. Humanity's different.
And I didn't notice that the first time through, but I did notice it the second time. What did you think about that scene? Did you like that the introduction of the celestial?
I liked it. It people paying attention will get it. Everyone else will be clued in later.
That's true. But I'm saying as far as because as far as speaking to celestials, this is the first introduction. How did you feel?
You're right.
How did you feel about that? Did you think
I felt like the scale was very good. Mm-hmm. You felt like every time that it was showing a celestial on screen, you could see that they're just these massive beings. And the fact that it was just we'll get to that later. But I thought that was one thing that did really well. I think voice, the ethereal.
I think Chloe Zhao does scale really, really well in the entire movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. That is one thing that this movie just little Italian okay sign, a little, but I thought I liked that scene. I liked how it introduced him. I liked how it wasn't boom, a celestial. It was okay, cool. This is this is normal business for Ajak and all that, I thought that was kind of cool.
And it's a good introduction to her as the leader.
Exactly.
Then we move to the first scene with Fastos and the steam engine thing.
Right.
How did you feel about this scene? Because
she said something about we can't we have to have a light touch.
Yeah, we have to. So he gives them a plow, which I thought that was actually pretty funny. But I thought it was interesting. Just thinking about how long they've been involved. It's interesting to think about how, theoretically they've been around since Iron Man. So it's in which corners of the world does Fastos help them invent stuff? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like he wouldn't do much after he invented the atom bomb. After Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I feel like he might be make a fucking potato peeler and live off of that patent for the rest of his life. You know what I mean?
You're right, because he did vow. He was I'm not gonna get involved again. That actually makes a lot of sense. I'm an idiot for asking that, but I'm saying there are things that I think where he intervenes that I have questions about. For instance, how is it a Druid thing where they're walking around in this godlike armor and none of the people are really reacting in this odd time frame? Is that something that Druid is making them not see? Or am I?
It also might just be a respectful they don't want to be treated as gods.
But I'm saying they're wearing this weird ass alien armor. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but they're walking around at Babylon, the city that they essentially built. So, and I feel
so the people are whatever. This is just another dude.
This is me playing at devil's advocate. You could be completely right. Hey, that's a little weird, or it could be Druid. But I feel it would be more of a respect thing. They would be hey, we're not gods. We're here to help you, but we're not gods. Don't treat us as such.
Still don't question us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then we get into Druid and Makari is my favorite character. if I'm pronouncing that. It might be
Makari. Which one's
the speedster.
Makari? Oh, okay. Yeah.
She is a fucking badass, and her and
Yes.
Druig.
Yes.
I fucking love that shit. I ate her and Druig up.
Oh yeah, like I forgot who it was. Somebody said like they came out of nowhere. I was like, it was subdued, but it was there throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, it's there in the beginning.
You know?
This is the like we're talking about like their intro scene specifically. I love that they both have like little secrets that they don't tell the rest of the group, and then they're like, no, we're gonna keep this between us. I really liked both of them. I really liked Druig a lot, and I liked Makari a lot too. And I'm glad that they lived because I was like, oh shit, like there's gonna be characters that definitely die just because of how big the roster is in this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that both of them made it out.
It's weird how only 3 people died. You know, I felt like a lot more.
Mm-hmm. But to be fair, in a standard
yeah.
Marvel film, nobody typically dies. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So as far as like killing people and like them actually being dead, I mean, it's not bad, you know. And they also kill a Celestial.
Spoilers, bro.
Oh, you're this far in and you're worried about spoilers. You're in the wrong place.
Thanks.
But I did you like their intro?
Yeah, I thought all of them were introduced fairly well. Like every time that they were introduced, you saw their power.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, you saw their power. You saw how they interacted with the rest of the Eternals. Like, you know,
and I feel that they really like well explained. Like, I feel like if I told you a character name, you could be like, and then like describe if you had trouble knowing who it was. They all have individual powers.
Exactly.
Which I liked a lot because I was worried it was going to be like all the characters kind of have the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Like they're all they all kind of have super strength. They can all kind of fly. The generic shit.
Mm-hmm. But there are characters that just don't have super strength at all, and there are ones that just like that is their only thing. So I really liked the introduction, and then we get to the Cersei and Icarus like sexy time stuff, which was, I mean, I feel like that was made out to be a bigger deal online than it actually was. Like,
it's still weird because like for a PG-13 movie, for like I might be taking like somebody's kids to like my kids to whoever's kids to like, you know what I mean?
My kids see it.
Yeah, but like still, it was very unexpected. It wasn't like your typical, oh, we're gonna lay underneath some sheets, like.
Yeah.
You
know.
Well,
they did it in Iron Man 1, you know? So I was like.
True.
So I was like, I mean, if you're gonna show your kid Iron Man 1, where like people fucking explode and like at this point, you're watching like people get their heads cut off. This is Disney
Marvel though.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But we're watching like people fucking die and shit in these movies. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but this is America.
You're right. Violence isn't. You're right. Violence is less scrutinized than sex. Anyway, I didn't feel like it was that big of a deal. But I also didn't. Like, it just feels like. I don't know. I just didn't get it. I didn't buy the relationship, and that sucks because I feel like that has to circle back to the end. Do you know what I'm saying?
You know what it feels like? It feels like the Celestials did like a Westworld thing, and like they just programmed like, hey, you will have feelings towards this person. You will have feelings towards this person.
Yeah. It's interesting what the Celestials like. It's interesting the way that the Celestials designed the Eternals, because you would figure that they wouldn't allow them to do exactly what they did. You know what I'm saying? Like they were programmed. Go ahead.
It's like they made them human-ish. Like they gave them free will.
Exactly. They gave them free will and the ability to destroy what they're there to do. It's like it's odd. Like what the Eternals can't really tell like what they're doing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Arashim knows that Ajak has died, but he doesn't. It doesn't really feel like he knows Icarus killed them or why Icarus killed her. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so they're not really omnipotent
Yeah.
or omniscient. There we go, omniscient.
Yeah, it's interesting, I want to get more like out of like I want to know more about that. So if that's just something that they kept from us so we can learn more about, I'm
Hmm.
fine with it. But if it's just like a plot hole in the movie, I don't know if I'll be as keen on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I guess if you're like to get real fucking philosophical with it, if they didn't have free will, could they really nurture
The
a
creation of
sentient
humankind.
race? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
intelligent
Yeah.
life. Yeah, I guess that's
Intelligent
fair.
life.
I feel like it's more of like they're androids, but they're not really androids in a traditional sense. They're more like Vision, is what it kind of feels like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but except they're like way more OP than Vision is, because Vision, he's kind of a little bit of a loser.
Well, but like it's a weird power scale though, because like you only see him fight stuff in this movie, right?
Yeah,
And so like you can't compare him like Vision
yeah,
fighting whoever, you know,
yeah, that's true.
even though he hasn't really fought that much in the MCU.
No, he got fucking tanked in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Um,
And then he fought his girlfriend in Civil War, and that was pretty much it.
yeah, and himself.
And
in
himself.
Yeah,
And
but barely. He just, yeah, whatever. It doesn't. But yeah, it's interesting. They're kind of like Vision, but I feel like they're a little more advanced than Vision, because they are
because
like,
they were created by a god.
well, that's true, but they're also like they're synthetic. Like they feel pain and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they like, it's interesting. I want to know more about it, and I'm hopeful that they'll explore it a little bit more and give us some answers in the future. After Fornication Island, they go to this is when they discover Ajax, her dead body. How did you feel about that scene? Did you like that?
You know that meme where it's like, oh no. Anyway,
Yeah.
every death. It felt like that in this movie. Like I was
Really?
like,
Every single one?
except for Icarus.
Really? Icarus was the most wow.
But no, not because it was emotional. Like all of them. Like because it felt like to me that it was like, oh, now we're sad. Okay, now something else has happened. Okay, now we're telling somebody else that Ajax died.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're sad. Okay, anyway, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It never. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
It never felt like any emotional weight except from Icarus.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever Ajax died, like people like they were crying and shit, but like I didn't feel the connection because she had only been on screen for 3 fucking minutes. You know?
Literally, this is my kind of thing with it, is I don't know if did the director or the scriptwriter want us to feel for the Ajax death, because they bring it up several times and they play sad music, and it is like, oh, like I'm sad that she's gone, but at the same time, the only scene we've had with her is the scene with what's the Celestial's name? Akamesh? Arashim. That's the only scene we've had with her by this point in the movie.
Right, so where she actually had dialogue.
Yeah, and it just felt weird. I was like, I couldn't tell if they wanted us to connect with her. It was beautiful. Right. Like let me say, I think the movie is really, really pretty. Like I think
I agree with you on that.
And like in terms of scale, it's well done, but it's some of the character stuff lacks. Like I couldn't tell if they wanted us to feel Ajax's death per se, or if they just wanted us, like if they just wanted that for narrative purpose, right?
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was just for the characters or if it was for us, because I was like, we're not nearly connected to Ajax at all.
And that's another thing about this movie. Like I don't know, and I know this has never been a huge thing with Marvel, but like I don't know what perspective to watch it from. I know that sounds like a real snooty fucking thing to say, but like
Phantom Menace problem, like where you don't really know who the main character is.
Yeah, And I know it says like, oh, it's like it's Cersei.
Yeah,
I know it's supposed to be Cersei. I know it's
Mhm.
supposed to be, but I feel like it's not about her enough for her to be the main character. Like I feel like it's not on her shoulders.
Would you
I
say
feel like
it's like you felt like in Guardians it would be like Peter's story? So you like
yeah. Like overall, like I feel like they each have their own. Like I don't know how to put it, except for like I don't know whose perspective to watch it from in every scene, almost. You know?
Yeah,
You can,
I understand. I just feel like there's some couple of character shortcomings that I didn't really understand, like why the character was doing that, and I've seen it twice now, so I'm still like a little bit like really like this is an interesting direction to go with this
Yeah.
character. And but the Ajax thing, I think I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and just say it was for like story purposes. Like they wanted to move the story along in this way. And doing it at the beginning, I will say it does give the Icarus scene later a lot more dramatic weight.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because, or at least I felt it did, because we are told the whole movie, oh, she's gone. So when we figure out like how, it really, I did feel a payoff there.
Though, if by the time that he admitted to killing Ajax, if you didn't see that coming, yeah.
We'll talk about it more, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, okay.
Really?
Yeah,
okay, we'll get to that later.
Yeah. And then it cuts to the I don't know how to pronounce it, Tenochtitlan scene.
What?
With excuse that. It cuts to the Tenochtitlan scene with and where the group decides to split up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Druig is like, fuck this, I'm leaving. And I'll tell you what, I really liked this scene a lot.
Yes.
I really fucked with it. And I loved his whole like inner conflict where he's like, I have to sit here and watch like these fucking animals kill each other over and over again when I can do everything in my power to stop, like I can stop all of it.
Yeah, it is within my power to do it.
Yeah.
And then you also have
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was like, and then also just like, well, that's happening while he's having this, like, he's having to put a line in the sand. You also have Thena losing her fucking shit in the corner,
which I actually liked. I liked the Thena stuff.
Oh yeah, me too. But yeah, no, like I love the whole Thena thing with her character. I love the badass who's like unreliable, and not in terms of like they're flaky, but like they could just lose it at any moment. You know, and or like they could just like not be able to work.
Eradicate.
Yeah. All of them.
Everyone besides, I think Icarus would probably be the only one who stands a chance, because when she's going wild, I mean,
Gilgamesh.
And Gilgamesh. Oh my god! And let me tell you,
I loved you
when he fucking lays her out, dude.
Yes, I was like, oh! Whenever he does like the double fist thing, I was like,
boom! And just like, like cuts to a wide shot, and she just goes like straight to the ground. That was fucking dope. I was like,
yes,
that is really badass. I like that he's the only one, like he's the one who takes care of her, because theoretically he's like one of the only ones who can like take her out if he needs to. I bought that whole dynamic.
Yes, and like I loved how it was. They loved each other, but the writers were so good on this. How they loved each other, but it wasn't like, hey, we're boyfriend girlfriend, or like we're partners, we're life partners. It was like they're brother sister, you know, or like if they're really really good friends.
Yeah.
Who like care for each other. They're war buddies.
Yeah, like deep companionship.
Exactly.
And I really bought, and Gilgamesh laying her out is probably one of the coolest parts in the movie. Does that sound awful? No, because she could like domestic abuse.
She could kick his ass as well. Like
she could lay him out. But
because it's just but it's also funny because it's literally the bonk meme. You know,
you know, like when he laid, I don't know what it was, but that scene, like I was like audibly like, I like giggled with Phoebe. I
Damn.
was like, oh, that was really cool.
But like, it
Um,
wouldn't have mattered if it wouldn't have mattered if it was her or Kingo. You know,
yeah,
whoever it was, if he would have done that, you would be like, damn. You know.
for real. Yeah, and I believed Angelina Jolie. I feel like she does a good job, like with the sorrow and like the whole like, oh, I don't want you to erase my memories thing.
Yeah,
I felt for that part. I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
on my
Um,
memories.
did you like the whole group split up thing? Did you think it was kind of justified where they were going with that?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I feel it. Yeah, because Ajax is like, yeah, I mean, everything's on track. Like where we can the train drives itself from here on out. You know,
That makes sense.
and
I
so
get
like,
it.
yeah,
Mhm.
kind of split it from there. It makes
uh,
sense.
after the group, or we see the group split, we then go into the recruitment of Kingo. Um,
Yeah, I
Kumail
love,
Nanjiani in this movie
dude.
is fucking awesome.
Yes.
He, I was worried. I was like, oh, like The Big Sick. I don't know if you've seen The Big Sick. Um,
No.
it's a movie that he stars in, and it was the first time that I saw like him in an acting role, and I was like, oh my god, like Gabe, you gotta watch it, bro. It's a rom-com kind of, but it's like the story of
Hmm.
how Kumail and his wife like got together. Like it's actually their story. Like they got a screenplay
Oh
together, and
wow.
yeah, and he plays the lead, and it's fucking awesome. But
Fuck yeah. Okay.
after seeing this movie, or after seeing The Big Sick, when he was cast, I was like, bro. And then he got shredded, and I was like, bro. And I feel like he delivers so well in this movie.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I love his character, like, and how he fits into the whole dynamic, though, because he's not like a frontline dude, you know. And you can see that like later on, whenever they get into fight scenes like that, he's not. He's the dashing DPS guy,
Yeah.
you
But
know.
holy shit, I love his like. I don't know what it's lame. Like if you really think about it, like shooting like things out of your finger
Oh,
is lame.
100%.
But they make it so cool. Like the sound
Yeah.
effect where it's like, like it.
And then he has like the Kamakameha one that he can do where he's like, and he's looking at Sprite like, buy me time, buy me time, buy me time.
He's just like they're charging it up, and his sidekick. Oh
Oh, he's so funny.
no, he was like he. Oh
And
god, like
heart,
is like
so
as far as
much.
Marvel comedy go, he nails it. Like it's just
Yes.
that scene in the forest when they're fighting. We'll talk about it more later. But when he shoots the dude in the head, and he was like, "Did you get that on camera?" And he's like, "I did, sir." Like
I did, so. And he keeps on losing the cameras and they keep on breaking or people break them. And he always has one more. Always has one more.
it's no, just what they did with Kingo and like his shit. Like, oh my god, it was tripping me up when he was like, "This is my great great grandfather."
Oh, yes. I was just thinking that, dude. Yes. Where he's like, how does nobody trip out about you doing Bollywood for the past 70 years? I was like, it's a little trick.
Just oh no, bro, it's fucking oh god, no, Kingo was great. He was
Hmm.
fantastic. He was one of the best parts of the movie. Um, and it's the thing that we talked about earlier. Like as far as problems go, we'll talk about it more earlier. But I feel like I don't know. It's something about they. I feel like they do a little bit of character injustice with him towards the end. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it more in a second. Then we get
Okay.
on the plane ride with them. And I mean, it's not really much of like anything special. Like we get Sprite
Yeah.
telling him like, "Oh, we shouldn't have like you should have
You
never
have
left
banter.
us." Yeah. Which I don't know, man. Sprite's motivation.
Dude, that so comes out of left field, right?
Yeah, it
The whole
felt odd.
Tinkerbell thing.
Well, we'll talk more about that in a second. But I'm saying like the way like I feel like Sprite has I don't know the 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 way she like has like outbursts.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes I feel like they come out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Um, and the first one I noticed was on the plane. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know. After the plane ride, we get to the introduction, or not introduction, but the re-team up with Gilgamesh and Thena,
Hmm.
where he's like making the pie and stuff like that. How did you feel about that? Like the fermented spit and shit.
Oh, I loved it because you could tell he's just like learning how to cook, just like to keep sane. He's just doing all these cool like little activities, and like he's also like it shows that he's taking care of Athena. My bad. No.
Drop the A. Yeah.
But yeah, I also loved it because like they're breaking bread. This is the first time they've all been together except for Druid and Mark, Mercury. I don't
Makari. Yeah.
Makari.
Hmm.
But like they're breaking bread together. They're having a family cooked meal or a home cooked meal.
Hmm.
I thought it was a very touching scene.
Did you like Cena, like how did you feel about her going like batshit and just fucking like scribbling on the fucking
Like I said, it adds to the character of like, oh yeah, she's still not stable. But
she's still there like fucking like
yeah.
like doing Cletus Cassidy shit. Um yeah, I like this scene a lot because it's interesting how they like in the beginning we see them all split up, but we never really got like the team dynamic. Does that make sense?
No.
So I do like the way that we're introduced in present tense, like with some backstory to see like the team dynamic now. Like the dinner scene's probably one of my like upper tier scenes in the movie. Just because it's like I love the way they're all talking together about like the events of the world, and then it unfolds, and we get into the twist with Aramesh. Cersei finally talks to him, and it's like she figures out everything. How did you feel about all
Arisham, by the way.
Arisham?
Yeah.
Or I said Aramesh, didn't I?
Yeah. Yep.
He's one of the most confusing fucking names I've ever like. Like
it's racist, bro.
Yeah.
It's Celestial. Yeah, bro.
What? He's a
It's racist against Celestial. Yeah.
Yeah, I said it. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Racist. Yeah. How did you feel about the twist? Did you see that coming?
Kinda. Like
you saw the celestial like.
Oh no. Like, but I saw like they're working towards something that's going to destroy the human race. Like I saw like that was coming, but I did not see that. Oh, the Earth is just an egg for a celestial. That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that section kind of droned on for a little bit, but I did love like the twist. Like I was like, I feel like they gave us a lot of exposition. But I feel like I don't know how else I would have done it because honestly, I feel like we needed it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could just feel myself thinking like, wow, we've been in this like this world, like this knowledge, like this, like them telling us what's going on for a while now.
And I loved also how they described it, like everything is chaos, like life is chaos. Without like the rebirth of celestials, you won't have new planets, you won't have new stars, but like that requires the death of sentient life.
Would you let us all die?
No, because I like us and I am partial to us. If it was another alien race, though, probably.
No, I did like it. Man, like once again, scale. Like when she like pans out and his like fucking hand is like huge, and she's just like this little dot in the middle of it. That shit in IMAX, man, I was shitting bricks. I was like, wow, that is stunning. Like on a regular, the second time I saw it, I was like, like this is okay. But when I was watching in IMAX, I was just like, holy shit.
Damn, that good, huh?
Oh, well, I'm telling you, it was badass in IMAX. Like the scenes that they chose to show, because the whole movie's not in IMAX. And I don't know if that was a COVID thing or if that was just because they just didn't. But the scenes where they did shoot in IMAX, I was like, what the fuck? Like they used it to perfection, I think. But yeah, I like the scene. I did feel, I felt it went on too long, but I don't know how else I would have done it. Like I don't know, I can't tell you. Like all that information we learned, we needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Did you like that part though?
Yeah, I think I'm in the same camp as you. I thought it was an exposition dump. I enjoyed it, but yeah, I saw the whole
The end of the
because like
world thing coming.
I saw the whole end of the world thing coming. She blatantly says there's something different about humanity. This one's different, or like these
Hmm.
ones are different, or something like that. I was like, she's done this before.
Yeah.
Whatever it is she's doing,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel
Anyway,
that. And then this is where the shit starts to hit the fan. They go to Druid, his little camp thing. Uh he resists, and then we find out, which I loved. I thought that was perfect, that he just sent a little base in the Amazon. He just has like
like,
people working for him, like, and he's just like living the best life ever because there's no conflict ever or whatever.
right?
And the part where he fucking tells, where he takes over Kingo's valet,
Oh,
he just throws his camera.
yeah.
And Kingo goes, and he's like, "I'm so sorry, sir. Like, I'm so sorry." And Kingo's like, "Don't apologize. It wasn't your fault."
Yeah. And I love though King goes like, "Yo, that's not cool. He's mine. Like,
Yeah.
he's my guy. You don't
Yeah.
fuck with my guy."
He's like, "Can we agree to not control somebody else's ballet?" That shit was
Oh,
fucking,
that's it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
God, it was so fucking funny. And then we get the Sprite revelation, which is that she is in love with
Oh
Icarus.
my god, I don't get that thing at all. Like, I get it, but I don't like it. I don't know. It's
It
the
just,
Tinkerbell thing.
it just made me. I was just like, I don't know. The Sprite revelation kind of felt weird to me because I was
Bro,
like,
also
why
talk
did
about
she
shoot
spend the
your
past
shot.
300 years with Cersei?
Yeah, like, but talk about shoot your shot, right? Like,
Well,
these
to be
are
fair,
eternal
Gabe, she
beings.
does look like a child. Like,
Okay, they're eternal beings. Like, I get that shit. Okay, like, on the record, these are fictional characters that do not actually exist. They live for billions, trillions of fucking years. I
put your
don't
hand on the
think.
Bible right now and raise your right hand. I understand what you're
All
saying,
of us
but
are just.
she,
Yeah,
I
open
feel like
up.
it was clear that she can't be with him because she looks like a child. But I thought the fact that she hadn't gotten over it when she's been hanging around his wife for
Yeah,
hundreds of years now was a
yeah.
little bit weird.
Like, oh my lord, yeah.
Like I
And
was
then
like,
she still chooses to end up.
yeah,
I
we'll
don't
talk
get
about it in
it.
a second. But I was just like, really, like, why did you hang around Cersei at all?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Exactly.
is it like an envy thing? Are you like envious of her? So you're like, oh, I have to stick around. I don't know. I thought that was a little weird. I was just like,
No.
that doesn't really make much sense to me, but okay. Um, and then the fight scene happens, and I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what. Continue.
I'll tell you what. This fight scene in the Amazon forest fucking kicks ass.
Yes. I
Um,
like the action in this movie works. It's good.
it's fantastic. I just love the way they display everyone's powers. I love
Mm-hmm.
the like how fluid it is. Like it doesn't feel like it stops. Like it feels like it keeps moving, and like you're constantly
Yes.
like, and you constantly understand what's happening, and you're not lost, but it does like keep it fresh. Like it keeps you on your toes, and you're like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen next? I think the action
Mm-hmm.
is
Well,
fantastic.
I love how like every action scene is a domino effect in this movie, and that's what I like because like, what is it? It's Gilgamesh, and it's been about a week since, or not a week, but it's been a couple days since
Yeah,
I've seen the movie.
Gilgamesh and Thena.
Yeah, Gilgamesh and Thena, like they're having a little fucking picnic or whatever the hell. And like everybody's spread out as
Yeah,
well. And like I remember, like, because the main fighters are off site, like they're away from the camp, and like the only one who can really fight in the camp is Kingo. And
Kingo
then
and
all the
everybody else is playing basically like hide the people or run or like try and
yeah,
distract the
yeah,
monster.
slow them down. Like
Yeah.
we're yeah, I like that. I thought that was
This is the
cool.
shit where he like starts doing the like, like
Yeah.
it's so clutch, and I love the like. I know you don't like the movie, Gabe, but I fucking love the Man of Steel shit because it's like it's almost a blatant ripoff.
Oh
of Man
yeah,
of
where he's
Steel.
like blasting his eye lasers
Well, they're
out.
like grabbing
Like,
his face, and he's like,
Mhm.
just like shooting it out of his eyes, like,
Yeah,
oh god, and they're like
that Griffin
dragging him
fight was
around.
that Griffin fight was cool with him.
That what? Yeah. Oh god, it was
That
so
Griffin
badass.
fight, yeah.
Yeah, and the
And
way
then
he flies, like it just feels so satisfying. Like
yes,
I love the Man of Steel, like he just like you feel him take off.
hmm
But there's also something so sleek about how casually he just turns around and like flies off. Like it, it
oh
does feel
yeah,
pretty fun.
yeah, it's such a like, it's a flex, you know. Superman, it's like I'm going.
Yeah.
Icarus is like, hey, I can fly, you can't.
Icarus is like, yeah, exactly. Icarus is like, I'm gonna be smooth about it. Superman's like, I have to build up the momentum to go at the speed of sound. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, Icarus is, yeah, no, the Amazon fight scene is
Mhm.
excellent,
And
excellent.
then
The action is fantastic. But that leads us right into the death of Gilgamesh.
dude,
Did you
he
feel
was
this one?
put
Because
in.
you said earlier you didn't really feel a lot of the deaths.
No, but so here, and I felt something with this, and it's always like I don't know why this one always gets me, but it's whenever Gilgamesh, right? He was easily taking on the what
Like the monk role.
the deviant,
Oh,
right?
deviant. Okay.
He's like easily taking it on, right? He's just bashing it, keeping it back. He's like, come on, I can do this all day, like,
Yeah.
you know. And but then he's and the deviant, you can see Gilgamesh recognizes, oh, it's looking at Thena, and
Mhm.
it starts going after Thena, and he then has to get in between it and Thena and like sacrifices himself. But it's like it's that one trope that always gets me for that reason. If it wasn't for that, like, because immediately afterwards it's like Gilgamesh died. Oh, now the deviant has his powers.
Yeah, the
Anyway,
deviant upgrades. Basically, it's like it evolves. It's like
you froze.
yeah, the deviant upgrades. It evolves basically.
Sorry, you froze. I didn't hear anything you said.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the deviant upgrades. It like evolves basically.
Yeah.
Like it becomes a Raichu. Is that how you pronounce it?
A what?
Raichu, like Pikachu's evolution. I don't know.
Oh, Raichu. No, I'll say more like it's Parasite from
Yeah.
DC, and don't try and quote Pokemon again.
I'll never do it again because I don't play Pokemon. I don't even know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Raichu, by the way. Raichu.
Raichu, thank you. It didn't work, but that's all right. But you understand what I was saying.
Yes, it leveled up, it upgraded. It stole his personality or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say I was devastated, but I was definitely like, oh, like, damn. Because I did actually like that character quite a bit. And the whole remember thing, I thought that was well delivered.
Remember, yeah.
Yeah.
Comes to bite him in the ass later on, though.
For real.
But I like, and it's one of those weird things where like I was sad to see the character go. I didn't feel like the movie was sad.
Interesting. You don't feel like the characters were sad?
So that's like I felt like the deaths were there to service the plot and not the other way around. If that makes sense.
See, I feel like, and maybe it makes sense because the others haven't seen him in hundreds of years. I feel like Thena was really fucked up about it, but the other ones were like, "Oh, we lost a friend." Like,
yeah. Well, yeah. Thena was the only one who I felt like cared at that point. The rest were like, "Oh, Ajax died."
Yeah.
Like
all of them were. I felt heartbroken about Ajax, but Gilgamesh, we just kind of got over. Like, we get to, this is where we're going with this, and we'll talk about it a little more in a second, but Fasto scene, they tell him Ajax died, and he's like, oh, Ajax died, but he didn't really seem to give a shit. Like, nobody told him, hey, Gilgamesh also like, got fucked.
Yeah, he got fridged hard, dude. Yeah. Nobody cared.
How did you feel about the next part of what it goes straight into the Fastos Hiroshima thing? How'd you feel about that?
I appreciate it. I liked it because, you know, you're seeing like, okay, this is the reason why each one like chose to go and like be amongst the humans or go do whatever the hell Icarus did. Um, you know, like I liked it. It was also different because he like Cersei chose to live amongst the humans
Yeah.
instead of like on Earth.
Dude, I'll tell you what, his whole like, it's my fault this bomb was built, so I'm done
Oh yeah,
thing.
I felt that.
I fucking love that shit where he's just like sitting
Mhm.
there and he's like, I like this is on me. Like there's nobody
Yeah.
else that this is on, and he's like sitting there crying and like you can tell he's likely the only one who would have survived that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and then like how Ajax was like, well, they would have gotten here regardless. I was like, well, I pushed him here,
Yeah.
you
You
know,
steered him in
and
that
he was like,
direction.
yeah, he's like, I still brought him here.
Yeah. And then we get to his recruitment scene, and I'll briefly bring this up because I don't really think it matters that much. They talk about Superman, Gabe.
Yeah, yeah,
Any
I
repercussion you
heard that.
think?
No,
No.
it,
I don't,
he's Superman.
yeah, I think they had to mention it because it's such like it's just such a blatant like
Yeah,
even his
Icarus is
lasers. It
Superman.
looks like it's Man of Steel. Like it looks like
What? Except for the breath, he has every power of Superman.
yeah. I don't know if he has super. Does he have super speed?
No, but I would say he's faster than most people because he was
Yeah.
able to keep up with uh uh Markaya.
Makari. He was able to
Makari.
catch her. Yeah, he caught her
Yeah.
once.
Yeah, he was able to catch her. He was actually able to do shit.
And I think he has like light super strength. Like I don't think it's like heavy super strength.
No,
Like I feel
no,
like
no, no.
Gilgamesh is like I have fucking super strength, but he
I
has
feel
like
like it would go like it goes in terms of like strength. You know, if we're looking at their character stats,
Mhm.
Gilgamesh. It would be Icarus, then Thena, Kingo, and everybody else.
and everybody else. Yeah,
No.
yeah,
Oh, can we go back real fast? Talk about the jungle fight scene. I
yeah,
thought,
yeah.
scatterbrained, I know, but like I loved how the fight with how Druid, like he, like how all of them were just like they had shotguns
And that
and
shit
they
when
just
he
had a
lets them go,
firing
bro.
one.
Like
Yeah,
where he
and he was like,
puts out
"Hey,
his
go."
hand.
And then they just all dropped their guns, believe, but like they like all shot at him, and then like he jumped and like stabbed it, or like he did some like cool
He
shit where
jumped.
like
He grabbed a shotgun, jumped on top of it,
that's
shot him,
right,
spinned off, and then landed in a superhero pose.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
cool. He
yeah.
didn't do
No,
anything, but it was cool. He,
he's a fucking
like,
G, dude. Like I don't know,
mhm.
like, and I like that his power is not. He's not invulnerable. He's not like he has a little bit of like tough skin because that
Yeah.
Icarus hit at the end. Like he's just
Oh,
he lives through that, right?
oh,
But
yeah,
he like he doesn't have super strength. He doesn't have all he can do is control people's minds.
hmm
I love that because it's like
yeah.
it's so different. That's what I'm saying. I feel like they did really well at making everybody's powers individual.
It's the most well-rounded D&D party because you don't just have fighters, but you also have RP characters.
Yeah, yeah, for real. But anyway, yeah, Drew's a badass. But back to the Fastos recruitment,
hmm
the whole family thing. Um, I loved everything about this. I don't know how did you feel about it?
I like it's one of those movies where like once something's off screen, it no longer exists.
Really? So you felt like
Yeah,
after Fastos
after
left, it didn't really matter to him anymore?
like it did and it didn't. You
Mm.
know, like it felt like it felt like it was written that way. Like it was written for him to have those emotions and all that, but I didn't feel it. I like
Interesting.
that's the biggest thing about this movie is like I could see where it was going. It has a lot of potential. I just don't think it met it.
Interesting. I'm not. I actually disagree with you. Like I said, I fucking loved it. I loved it both
No.
times I saw it. I like how he's like, in a way, he kind of has like a little bit of like post traumatic stress.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's saying, "Oh, I put that part of me away," but he has like
Mhm.
this fucking shield over his entire house. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. What like this has to be the most perfect. It's in every trailer. It's the most quoted fucking line. What is this? This must be the most perfect safe
Yeah,
house. Is this like fucking
yeah,
vibranium?
yeah,
It's IKEA.
yeah,
False alarm.
yeah. Fall collection. No, I loved it. I loved his family. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the representation. I love the representation. I think it's about time, honestly.
Yeah.
There's only so many straight couples you can do before it just gets utterly boring. Um,
Something you're trying to tell us, Dylan.
yes, I'm tired of straight people. No, I'm
Never
kidding.
mind.
But I'm just saying. It was refreshing, and it
Yeah. No,
was. It
I
was.
wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, it wasn't unbelievable. Like I thought it was very believable. It didn't
Hmm.
feel, and it might be, which is fine. It's totally fine. If, I'd rather have this type of representation than no representation. It didn't feel corporate to me. It felt natural. It felt like a part of the story.
Hmm.
Um, and even if it was corporate, I'd rather have it than not have it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, I thought it was great. I loved it. I believed him. And Thassos actually, his powers are it's one of the coolest parts of the movie.
Oh yeah, how he like his gadgets and all that.
He just fucking builds it and the scene towards the end when he's building I want to say the 10 rings, but the bracelets.
Right.
He's building the bracelets and he's like swiping everything away.
Hmm.
I couldn't help but think of Iron Man
Yep.
because it had to be a nod, right? Because it looks exactly like it. Like he expands it and then he swipes it. I just loved his powers. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what else they do with him. I'm really hoping that he's in more, even though it kind of feels like he's the type of character who would just stay at home and with his family.
He's gonna stay at home with his family, and then every once in a while, hey, we need this thing that we can't like
Yeah,
that has to do with the Celestials. Oh, hey, I'm Festus. Nice to meet you. I
yeah.
haven't been any of the
Oh, but
past six
he
movies.
did get sucked up at the end, so maybe not.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, wait a minute.
Phrasing,
Wait a minute.
phrasing.
Yeah, Arad Shem or whatever the fuck his name is sucked
That's,
him up at the end.
yeah.
Whatever, bro. Whatever. It doesn't get better. um, but yeah, no. So I guess he will be involved, but he feels like the character that'll be like, no, I'm done, I'm settling down.
Yeah.
But I loved him. I thought he was great. I didn't really feel the whole. It's interesting. You just felt like you didn't really like it wasn't really that big of a deal once they were off screen.
Yeah.
Interesting that you got that.
Well,
What specific moment would you say where you were like, oh, it doesn't really feel natural?
I couldn't tell you
It
honestly.
just did.
But like, I wouldn't say natural. It was just, how do I put this? That it was very predictable. Beat for
Okay.
beat, every character did what I expected them to do.
Hmm.
Like
Interesting.
nothing felt out of like it didn't feel out of character at any point. I shouldn't have said that earlier. That like it got left behind, but I really do feel like for the most part, whenever something happens on the screen, that is one thing. The relationship like between him and his family, like
Hmm.
you could tell that was a deciding factor, right,
Yeah. Hmm.
for him.
Yeah.
But I
Um,
feel like it didn't feel different. It didn't feel anything new. Anyway, continue.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes
No.
perfect sense. Then we get into uh, Makari and the ship intro, and she's got all her shit in there. I thought that was kind of fun. I don't know how you really felt about
Oh
that.
yes, I liked Makari.
Yeah. Well, I just like that she has like a shitload of stuff because
Hmm.
she's able to go through it all so fast.
Hmm.
I really fucked with that. And then and then it cuts to like after they discuss kind of what they need to do or whatever. Um, it cuts to the whole Icarus and Kingo scene where he's like, I would follow you to the end.
Oh my god,
Um,
yeah.
I just I see. I like most of the characters, but I just didn't feel like we saw that connection. Like I felt like we were missing a
And
scene where we like you felt that they like Kingo would is like gonna he's my ride or die, right?
all you needed was one of the one of the flashback scenes. All you needed was literally like Kingo, like one of the deviants pouncing on Kingo. Icarus like ends up taking it away, and then like Kingo ends up getting his redemption later on in the scene, and then like
Mhm.
Icarus gives him an attaboy.
Or like even if he's like if Icarus saves him and he's like I'll always be like
Oh yeah, or even that, like like
yeah
they just some sort of connection. Other like because that was one of the few times they talked as well.
yeah I feel like it was the only time that they talked about their relationship other than
Yeah,
like the Ajax stuff. I don't know. It
yeah.
just I just was like really you would I don't know I
Mhm.
hate feeling that way because I love both the characters. Um, and then Makari. No. Then it goes straight into the Icarus twist, which you said you saw coming, like him killing Ajax.
Yeah, yeah. Every time that they brought up Ajax, he never like was crying, like or anything like he was just like, oh, okay, and like I don't know, it just it felt like the deviant wasn't the only one who killed her because she was just sprawled out in the middle. Like if her death didn't have any weight later on in the storyline, she would have been alive whenever they showed up.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. I felt I didn't see that shit coming at all. And I don't know why, but I didn't pick up on it. And when it was happening, I was like I was so excited. I was so excited because I was like, Icarus is gonna be a bad guy. And I like couldn't wait because I was already like, oh, I kind of like fuck with his like powers and abilities and shit. And when that
Mm-hmm.
happened, I was like, oh, that's right on the money. Like I felt like that was a great choice. And I love his whole like setting her down, and then he has like his um, what is
Ah!
yeah, like his Man of
his
Steel moment.
no, his no,
Um,
like from
like it, it was great. I thought, did you like it, even though you saw it coming?
yeah, I enjoyed the twist, I guess. But like I saw it coming, dude. Like
So it kind of bummed you that
because
you were just like predictable.
yeah,
Yeah. Mm. Damn, bro. I didn't see that shit
I
coming at
mean,
all.
my IQ is just so high that
Yeah,
any movie
I
now,
guess.
yeah.
I got the formula down.
Like
Um,
I hate saying that, but like I thought the movie was fairly predictable.
Wow, I'm surprised you picked up on that because I didn't at all. It caught me off guard. And then he immediately goes into fucking up the rest of the team after Makari like finds the point of emergence.
Hmm.
Oh, and also let me say this before we move on from the Icarus twist. Knowing that, watching it the second time, dude, this motherfucker is pure evil.
No,
I was like, it kind of caught me off guard how fucked up he is because he's like saying like he's like there and he knows how Ajax died. And he's watching like his friends cry through it, and then he's telling Kingo like when he first comes up, he's like Ajax dead. Like like, and I was like, bro, you're fucked in the head. Like he's fucking thrown off, dude. By the end,
yeah,
like if you go and watch it again, there's shit that you see him do where you're like, oh my god, like you're a sociopath, bro.
he's Scottish, bro. What else can I say?
Whoa, that actually is racist, isn't it?
Nah.
I don't. Please don't hate us, Scottish people.
Hey, any viewers from Scotland, make sure that you comment down below.
If you're from Scotland, fuck off. No, I'm kidding. I hope you were too, Gabe. Um,
What? Oh my god.
but then Makari finds the point of emergence. It starts beginning. Icarus betrays the team, which I thought was fantastic. I love that he decides, fuck this team. I'm going to go watch the world burn.
Okay, what do you feel about Kingo though?
Well, we'll get to it in a second.
Okay.
But first, I want to talk about Sprite joining him out of nowhere.
Really? Like, this is what we're gonna
I
do?
understand that she's in love with him, so that's why she left, and that's the way they explained it in the movie. But I just didn't feel it, because like I said, she's been with Cersei for hundreds of years.
But dude, what is her reward at the end of the movie?
What is her reward going with?
Well, no. So like, what I'm saying though is like, so her choice is to like destroy humanity, and at the end of the movie, she decides to, oh, you can make me into a real boy now and live amongst everyone else. And
This is
like,
what I'm saying. She's like,
she's a like, she's
I don't
one
know.
of those
I
erratic
wasn't a fan of the
characters.
direction they chose to go with her. I just wasn't, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I will say I understood her twist to Icarus, but I was just like, ugh, come on, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Really?
yeah, it was just like, okay. And then yeah, Kingo leaves, and this is, I think, if I had to say I had a biggest problem, I would say this is probably it. This feels incredibly inconsistent with Kingo. And the choice to not have him in the finale was very weird to me.
I liked it. I actually that was one of the more weird story choices that they went that I really liked, because he was like he was more so there for, I'm here to get the band back together. Like, let's go having one last hurrah, blah, blah, blah. But, like, he agreed with Icarus, but at the same time, he didn't want to fight his family, you know? And he's just like, he's like, I care about this decision. I don't give enough of a fuck, though, to fight you. I'm not convicted enough to fight you.
The thing with it is like, literally, Icarus is leaving the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Kingo, I didn't notice this till the second time around, and it bothered me. Even this is the part, this is the only part of the movie that I came away liking a little bit less, because I wasn't a big fan of it when I saw it the first time. I was like, that's a kind of character jump that didn't really make sense. But right before Kingo leaves the group, in the scene with Icarus goes, I'm leaving, I'm not going to support this, and I will try and stop you because you guys can't stop me, right? And then Icarus leaves with Sprite, right?
Right.
After that point, when Icarus says that, Kingo tells him, deadass, this is his line. He goes, you don't turn your back on family. Like, he does the whole Dom Toretto thing. And yeah, I know, Dom Toretto. But he literally says, you don't turn your back on family. Right. And then he turns his back on family.
That's different. He doesn't want to fight his family. He's not turning his back. He's like, I'm washing my hands of this.
He's going to lose all of them. If the Celestial wins, he has no family.
If the Celestial wins, he has no family.
Because they wipe away their minds, and then that's it.
I guess. But I see it from the standpoint of like, he is. I can't hear you if you're speaking right now.
I didn't say anything.
I'm gonna continue. Where was it going with this?
You see from the standpoint of what?
Oh, like he doesn't want to fight his family. Like, there's a difference between like turning your back on family and like participating in the internal fighting of it, you know?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It didn't really feel like it made sense to me.
Yeah.
And it sucks. Well, it also sucks because, bro, I want to see Kingo fight with the rest of the team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it would have been cool.
Like, it is okay, you're right. It's different. It's refreshing, and I understand why you would like it because it's like out of the norm, right?
Right.
But man, come on! I want to see him kick ass. I want to see him beat up on Icarus with the rest of the team. Like, I thought he was going to show up at the end and be like the savior. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But no,
or even better, like he ends up fighting with the I need to tell you something offline. Remember, like, help me
Okay.
remind.
Okay. If he ends up fighting with Icarus,
Yeah, like I guess it would have been interesting to see him like fight Icarus, and because he said earlier, like, I'm your ride or die. Like, I will go to the end. Like, I will
Mhm.
I'll go to the end with you. You
like
know what I
I
mean?
trusted you or something. He's like,
Yeah,
God, I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me for him to
dude.
do that.
Also, how fucked was it that he was like, I agree with Icarus. Walks out the door. Come on, valet.
I
I was like,
know.
dude,
What
he
what I will say
talk about a
is,
real ride or die, bro.
yeah,
That
for
motherfucker
real.
said,
And
I
he
don't
goes
care
with
if
him.
you live. And he
What I
still
will
goes with
say is that I did like his valet's speech where he was like,
mm-hmm.
"Thank you all for
Thank you.
trying.
Yeah.
It's been great." I did really like that. I thought that was kind of heartfelt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. I'm glad you liked it though. It just felt weird to me. Um, and then we get to the scene with Athena and Cersei. Um,
Which
and
one?
she's like, we fight for what we love. Athena says that, and then she like hands out her hands. She's like, get up.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I don't know.
Meh.
I didn't really feel it because I don't really feel like
I
we've seen
felt,
Cersei and Athena interact.
and this sounds kind of bad, but like, Cersei is she's a white canvas of a character. You know what I mean? I feel like she doesn't have a lot of personality.
Really, that's interesting. You said I don't know. If, interesting.
I
You know that now that you mention it, I can't really think of any character moments with her.
right? Like there's nothing she's fairly bland. All of her character development comes from she's like the air quotes protagonist. And she is dating Kit Harington.
And Dane, and yeah, and in love with Icarus too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
interesting. I don't know if I have a discernible character trait besides like fear. Like she's kind of scared of stuff.
yeah.
Um, that's a good point you made, Gabe. I can't really. She's not really like comedic.
No.
She's not really. That's
She's good.
interesting.
She's a good
She's a
person.
good person. She is a wholesome person.
But
Um,
like that's it.
she has honor. I guess I would say she
Yeah.
had honor. But yeah, interesting. She's kind of a blank canvas. Um, and I do like she does struggle a little bit with her moral dilemma about killing the celestial.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know that scene. We didn't see any of Athena or Cersei's character development. Like we just didn't. I don't feel like that was in the movie. Like I think that was like maybe the first conversation they had. Honestly, wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember them having another conversation in the movie.
I think they
And
might have said bye to each other.
yeah, like for real. Like I don't know. Or did they didn't talk? Maybe they talked when Cersei first walked up to her. No, because that was Gilgamesh. I don't know. I was like, okay, this is an interesting. I
it,
don't
it
know.
did- it's definitely one of those where there are so many characters that some of them just don't interact.
Yeah, and I feel like that's different than like a Guardians. Like I feel like the point is made that all the characters know each other.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. Um, but after that, we get Fastos building the bracelets,
Right.
and then the movie kicks it into high gear
Which,
again.
by the way, what was their original plan? It was to
Mhm.
it was to get the Unimind for
Druid.
Druid so he could mind control the Celestial into going back to sleep, right?
Yeah, yeah, and put them
Okay.
under. Yeah. Um, but it didn't work. But essentially, they get the bracelets on and they get ready to go, and then
Right.
the most badass part of the movie happens. Icarus versus Makari.
Yes.
I mean, it's beaten, and I hate saying this because I love I love a couple of the DCU movies. I think and Flash is my favorite superhero. I think this is hands down the best speedster like fight scene I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Easily.
Well, because have you seen Invincible?
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of Omni-Man versus like the Justice League knockoff, where Red Rush is like he's doing so much work for so long. Like he's keeping everybody alive.
Yeah.
Like he's like picking people up and running them away and all that. Like it felt like that, She's like she was the biggest threat to him. But then you also had Fastos in the back, like, setting his stuff up to.
Oh, they use him. They use every character in this fight with Icarus so well.
And then, like, because it's very clear that like Fastos is the end game for like in terms of like defeating Icarus. Yeah, you're smiling. Haha, I quoted in another Marvel movie. Neckbeard.
Very funny. Ha ha ha.
Exactly.
It's coming in.
Where was it? Oh yeah, but like Athena and Makari were literally there just to slow him down, keep him busy.
I know, but I swear to God, it's like some of the most interesting action in the entire film.
Oh, yes. I wholeheartly agree. That fight was so amazing.
I've seen the Flash reverse time and save the entire world, but something about Makari just absolutely clocking this motherfucker a billion times.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene where she comes in with a punch and then immediately like turns around and then smacks him with the back. It's just like it's done so well. It's done great. And the fucking the part where she fucking hits like this is backwards, but when she's running to find the emergence and they give you like her view of like her jumping and like running everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So real. Like it looks like she's actually running at the speed of light. You know what I'm saying?
But and I liked it also because it wasn't like they never really hammed it up like they would with. I'm not saying that they hammed it up, but like with X-Men and Quicksilver, and like how everything's just stopped.
Like
like no, it's like she looks like she's moving, like she's
fucking
running. Yeah.
She's fucking trucking it. Yeah. And even and I like that it's distinct. Like this speedster that they use in this movie is different from Quicksilver in Age of Ultron, because Quicksilver has like his little, and then he has like the like trail behind him. Right. But she is just fucking fast. Like she just moves. I just thought.
Also, like she's able to like feel vibrations and all that, which is so
cool.
Which I guess like that would make so much more sense. No.
And I like that it's intrinsic that like I feel like her being deaf is like an important part of that power, like the vibration thing. Oh yeah. And I don't know how, but I thought they implemented that well too. Like her being deaf, she has so much personality. Oh yeah, and like also the only person who like signs to her is Druig, right? Nobody else. No, Kingo and Fastos do it too. Oh yeah, that's right. But okay. it is done really well. Like I was so curious as to how they were gonna implement a deaf character into the movie, and I flawlessly. Like I think no issue at all. And she came out like, if not probably my favorite character in the movie. Just because she's so fucking cool. Like, so cool. And this is coming from me, like a speedster nerd. I just thought it was amazing. Like, she kicks ass. And like I said, all the Eternals versus Icarus, like Fastos locking them down. Yeah. That was so good. And then like you can see him just he's so emasculated at that point because like he like even tries to like shoot his old beam at him and it just fizzles out. Yeah. What I loved about it is that Fastos, like he has a line where he's like, "Oh, I've been waiting for this day for a while," and you can fucking tell because he's got Icarus. Like that was a fucking schematic he had in the works. He has to be the Batman of the group, right? Yeah. Where like he's like, just in case. Yeah. For like he fucking you could tell that fucking thing that he had Icarus trapped in. He had planned that out for a while.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
sure.
I thought it was great. And then there's Athena versus the Deviant. How do you feel about this?
It's one of the most useless fight scenes I've ever seen in Marvel Cinematic history.
Really?
In terms, so
Come on,
here's
the end
what
of the fight though, Gabe.
the end of the fight's cool, but it's very much like I don't know how to describe it other than like every time I saw it on screen, I was like, this doesn't matter anymore. Like all this matters is for like, which I do appreciate because like she's getting her revenge for Gilgamesh.
Yeah, it matters to her character, but
Yeah,
I guess not
exactly.
necessarily the narrative. Like the overall, like if she doesn't beat him or if she does beat him, they'll all die if the other
Right.
Eternals don't figure it out.
It's one of those things that like I'm conflicted with because like whenever I saw it, I was like, I do not care about this right now because there's a whole nother fight scene happening that's way better outside.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't know the whole, and then how it had it all tied up and shit, and it was like remember, and like he's even like he's saying, "Hey, the sun's getting pretty low, big fella," to her, and all that.
Sun is going down.
Yeah, the sun's going down. The sun is going down. You know what I mean? Like, or was it still or something like that? Stay.
Yeah, stay and remember. Stay and remember.
Yeah,
And
like, but like the fact that like she like, oh, like he said boxcar, whatever the fuck in Russian, and now she's tame and she won't move, and then like you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. I can understand how it like it's definitely important for the character.
Right.
But I understand your point as to like it doesn't really matter if this works out. I can get that a lot, and I can see how that wouldn't bother you. But I just thought it was there's so many. For me, there's so many badass superhero moments, like when he kicks her to the side, and then she's got the shield in her hand, and she just like sticks out her back arm, and you see like the spear form, and then the kill shot, dude, brilliant. Like
where she like, well, what happens again?
So he's got her tied up, and then she creates a dagger, and then she like cuts her hands loose, and then like slices everywhere, and then his face just like slowly.
That's right. Yeah, they cube him. That's right. I remember now.
I fucking love. I don't know. I thought it was really cool.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing. None of the fight scenes were boring.
Oh god, they're so well done.
They were so well done. The first one might have been the only one, but like in terms of like the Deviant, the main one, fighting, or like the one whenever it's brought in.
Yeah, and but I feel like that was because that was more of protect. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're playing a lot of like save the people and make sure Dane's okay.
Yeah.
In the other fight scenes, they're like, let's fucking kill these things.
By the way, another time, the only one other time that I like audibly like laughed was whenever fucking both Cersei and not Pixie, Sprite, like jump up the wall, and Kit Harington like jumps over the fence. He looks up at the wall. He's like, nope, taking this.
Yeah, that was good. Nope. Yeah.
Stairs.
Yeah. Yep. Moving. Yeah, but I think the action. I'm pressed to say that it might be my favorite part of the movie because the action is just so well done. Like
the action is really well done.
It's enjoyable. Like I enjoyed it just as much the second time. Like my enjoyment level of watching the action didn't go down. Like I was like, no, this is fucking superb. Like this, I honestly, I think it's Infinity War level action where it's like constantly engaging.
So this is a laundry day movie.
Yes.
You know,
like Venom, like kind of like that.
Well, like where the action is compelling, but like the story doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, there are story points that I feel matter, but there are other things that they chose to do where I'm like, I don't necessarily know if that's what would happen. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't feel some of it's not believable to me. in terms of like character points.
Mhm.
But some of it is, and the action that, like you said, is it's fucking fantastic. So, like I said at the beginning, it's a mixed bag. Like there's great stuff, and then
Mhm.
there's okay stuff, and then there's some stuff that I would like didn't enjoy personally.
Right.
One of them being what happens next, Sprite stabbing Cersei.
It has
Um,
zero consequence too.
well, the thing with it is just like, like okay, Sprite stabs Cersei, fine, that's fine. Druid knocking Sprite the fuck out, hilarious. Like I audibly
Yes.
laughed when that happened.
Well, because you have like these godlike creatures, right? Gets taken out by a fucking rock.
And this is the thing with this, right? Sprite stabs Cersei. She
Yeah.
attempts to murder her.
Yeah.
And Cersei at the end is like,
By the way, how does she heal herself? Because Ajax healed him.
she turns
Healed.
it to water, but I'm guessing it's like an
Oh,
impervious
that's
thing.
right.
Like she
Yeah,
turns the blade to water.
that's
Um,
right.
but that's what I'm kind of guessing is it's like she's connected to the uni mind. It's probably something like that, where it just instantly heals her because she's can
Yeah.
terraform humans and stuff like that. So she probably just healed herself. Or, she's an eternal. That like if it had stayed in and Sprite had hit her again, it might have been the end. But
Hmm.
just that little wound is um I just didn't. I don't know. I don't. What they chose to do with Sprite just didn't personally work for me. Um, and I didn't understand the goody goody at the end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Icarus has to die. Like unfortunately,
By the
I
way,
loved Icarus. I wanted him to stay alive. And when he was going off world, I was like, okay, so this makes sense. Like he has to leave. And we'll talk more about his death in a minute. But
how fucking
Sprite,
ironic.
she's forgiven so easily.
Yeah.
Like Sprite is Cersei forgives her, gives her what she wants, and then the rest of the team is still cool with her.
And yeah, it goes to the question of like, how do you judge a person, like by the worst thing they've ever done or by a lifetime of accomplishments?
I know, but that's fine, but like a lifetime of
It literally happened
accomplishments.
2 days ago, and you're giving her exactly what she wants. Cool. I
Yeah,
feel you.
it's just
I'm
like, and
playing
there's
devil's
there's
advocate.
no
Don't get me
moment.
wrong.
Like it's not like
Yeah.
she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's not really
Yeah.
like that. Like that doesn't
It's like
really
you're
happen.
forgiven.
It's like okay, there's no consequence to her
Yeah.
trying to kill in the world. Like no, you don't
Exactly.
feel any like I don't know. It just that part just I don't know. It didn't really make sense to me. Um, um, but yeah, then the Eternals win. Like I said at the beginning, the whole Icarus Cersei thing didn't really work for me.
Mhm.
But I did think it was a nice scene. Like I thought him like closing his eyes and crying, and then everybody coming in, and the climax, when she slams her hands back down, and everybody like the thing goes away, and the scale
Yes.
is
And you see
phenomenal.
like how like she's like in the middle of a palm, right?
Yeah,
And like you can see the fingers, like, and you can't even see the bottom of the fingers. You can't see where the fingers are coming out of the water
they're just
because it's
so
so
like
far.
yeah.
It's so far. You see them cresting the horizon,
Yeah.
dude.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And then
Mm-hmm.
Icarus flies into the sun.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
I don't know if I needed some Linkin Park in the background or what, but it just
Some
felt
Radiohead.
so edgy, dude.
Oh man, Gabe, I
Like
really wanted that motherfucker to stay alive.
that would have been so much. Like that's narratively speaking, they would have been able to do so much more with him
There's a
later
chance
on.
he's not dead. I mean, there's a chance. Like they did fade to white, so it implies that he's dead. But I mean, there's a chance he might come back. I just really
There's
liked
still
him.
also a chance that Robert Downey Jr. will reprise his role as Iron Man.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're right. I feel like he's really complex, and he's like one of the characters I enjoyed a lot. He wasn't
And
my favorite, but I did really enjoy him, and I think Richard Madden is a fantastic actor. And I was like, man, he's dead. Like
mhm.
he's dead, and I get it. Icarus flew too close to the sun. Like Like, come on, bro. Seriously?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It did not make sense for his character to do that. So that wasn't a character injustice. I just wish he stayed alive.
I felt like he was too self-important to do that.
Oh, you feel like it might have been a character injustice?
No. Like I feel like he was too self-important to kill himself. Like I don't know how to describe it other than that. Like he was narcissistic enough to like not to do it. You know, he was vain enough to not do it. You know what I mean?
I did feel that it was like, okay, I get it. Like,
yeah,
you feel like you just lost all your purpose and like your girl doesn't love you anymore. Time to go.
Posting up clarity is a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah. He's nutting as he's like,
yeah. Oh my! Was it the Cenobites who were like the anyway? Continue.
The Uninut. The
Uninut.
Yeah, and then Sprite becomes human, which is whatever. We already talked about it, really.
To be human again.
Eternals leave. Kingo goes with Sprite. That was fine.
Kingo goes with Sprite.
Yeah, Sprite left with Kingo. Sorry.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And then you know, the Arashim comes back at the end of the movie and is like, I'm about to fuck shit up.
Yeah. He's like, what did you do?
Kingo. It looks like he takes Phastos, Cersei.
No, there were 3 circles.
Oh yeah, I guess we just didn't get a zoom in on Kingo. Yeah.
Like we just saw Cersei get taken, but there were 3 circles.
Interesting that Sprite's not so she's
no longer internal. Yeah, she's no longer internal. But I feel like she might be the call to action.
Yeah, she'll be in the future.
She'll like she'll go up to Stark Tower or whatever the fuck and be like knocking on the front doors, walking to Jon Favreau.
Even though I didn't, good old Happy Hogan, he's probably gonna fucking die. Yeah, he's probably gonna die in Spider-Man. But even though I didn't like what they did with Sprite, or I wasn't a big fan, it wasn't really for me what they did with Sprite in the movie. I did think it was very smart of them to make her a human, so that they don't have to worry about her like growing up.
Yes.
Yeah, that was very. I thought that made a lot of sense, and that was a good move.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the ending? Did you like the whole? Basically, he takes them all away.
Yes and no. Because, and I know it's, every Marvel movie does this. It didn't feel final. The end of the movie did not feel like the end of the movie. It felt like, hey, we're set. This is the beginning of phase whatever the fuck,
Yeah. See,
like that's what this movie felt like. This whole movie felt like a setup.
Yeah. See, I feel like, okay, so I've been kind of searching. I've just been kind of thinking, like, what's the next Avengers threat? And for a second, I was like, oh, it's going to be Kang. But I feel like Kang might just be a reoccurring villain.
That's what I think Kang is going to be. I think it might be Galactus next.
Yeah. Well, I think the next Avengers film, like, I feel like Galactus will be, like, the next Thanos. Like, it's going to take a while to get there. But as far as, like, the next Avengers film, that's what this ending kind of felt like. I was like, oh, okay. So the next Avengers film is, like, them versus the Celestial.
Okay.
Because I was like, it didn't really. This is the only time where I was like, okay, this doesn't really feel like something that's going to be dealt with in the Eternals 2. This feels like something that's going to be dealt with on a large scale. Because if that motherfucker's like, I just want to crush the earth, and he's just like,
okay. Really weird theory here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thor: Love and Thunder. There is a celestial duo. I know very little about them, but I know they exist. One is love, one is hate.
Mm-hmm.
Love and Thunder.
Oh, no? Yeah, that might be something.
Yeah,
that might make sense. I didn't.
You heard it here first, folks.
But yeah, no, I just feel like this is gonna have to be settled before Eternals 2. What would you say, before we get into sequel speculation and stuff like that, what would you say you like, did you feel like you liked the villains? I mean, the Deviants and Icarus, like, did that work for you?
Icarus was one of the few parts of the movie that I really enjoyed. I saw it coming, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a different trope. You know what I mean? The fact that Judas was like that, there was a Judas. You know what I mean?
You know what I will say? I do appreciate that this is not, as far as like Marvel film go, this is just out of the formula entirely.
Yes.
And that part of it is refreshing. And you know, it's the first time a movie's kind of been structured like this, because I wouldn't really say Guardians was structured like this.
It's like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah, it's different, and you know, and I think that's part of why it's a like really divisive movie, is because whenever you try something new, it's gonna work or it's not gonna work.
But that's the thing about Marvel movies; they're made for everybody to like.
Yeah, and this is the first one. Well, the audience actually is enjoying it quite a bit. Critics fucking are split. Like it's like 48%. Like right.
Because they don't know how to freaking continue.
Well, like half of them like it, half of them don't. So
yeah.
That's not normal for Marvel movie, but the audience seems to be enjoying it. So that's really what matters. Like I hate to say that, but the audience matters more than critics do.
Well, because audience, that's money. Critics, that's money. Just critics are there to draw the audience. That's all they're there for.
Yeah. Which I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point for Marvel. I mean, it kind of does, just because we're coming out of the pandemic, and I don't think they're making nearly as much as they used to. But they need. Well, it's good that Spider-Man's coming next, because they need a recognizable IP to get the hype back up again.
They need a home run, dude.
Well, that's what they're making good movies. Yeah. Like, I mean, I know you didn't really like Black Widow. I like Black Widow. Here's what they need. Like, I think like Shang-Chi is the closest we've gotten to this. They need just a fun movie.
Yes.
Like, you go in and you're like, this movie's fucking fun.
Dude, Shang-Chi though even like follows the like basic hero arc.
Yeah, but goddamn, that movie's fucking.
It's the same. How do I put it? It's like the last couple of Marvel movies that have come out, except for Black Widow. The action's good. The story is compelling. I don't think it follows through.
Interesting. You just think it falls flat by the end?
I feel like it falls flat by the end, or like there's enough wrong with it in the middle for the last couple that have come out. Because like Shang-Chi, right? The
long middle, like the pacing in the middle. Kind of
oh my lord! Like there's always something huge that's just wrong with these movies.
And I think that's kind of why like people really found Venom very refreshing, because it's literally in and out, hour and 30 minutes, and it's just pure adrenaline.
Yeah.
Like
it's a old 90-minute box office film. That's what it is.
It's stupid as hell and a good time. Like
and like, see, I would give the Eternals so much more slack if it didn't try and be this huge. It's the railway cars situation again. You know, the whole thing with Captain America. You know, we don't trade lives.
Yeah,
it's the same dilemma that they've had before, and they try and market it as like this huge decision, but they're still. It still ends up falling flat, and I would forgive it because the action is good enough to carry me through the rest of the movie, but
some of the character beats, man, just
they fall flat. It's
I think What If is right now my least favorite of Phase 4, and then followed by Loki, which is crazy because Loki used to be my favorite show, but I just. No. And then right above Lucky is this. Man,
in terms of like best?
In terms of like Phase 4 ranking. So you got like What If, Loki, Eternals. And it's just because there's so much. I don't know. I don't know. It's not bad. Like I like the movie. I know you didn't like it. But it's just kind of middle of the road. Like I don't know. There are things in it that are so brilliant. Like I feel like there's moments that are just some of the
Like,
best shit we've seen, and then
so
there's some parts that are just not my favorite.
the whole Sprite thing, I will say they introduce her very well
Yeah.
because whenever they're at the club, right, and she has like the whole charade over, or
Mhm.
the illusion, and like some guy tries to like grab her hand and like goes through it, and she's like,
Mhm.
oh, and runs away. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
she's longing for that connection with somebody.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of it, she's just very bipolar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
so like
feel you.
it's these little moments that, like, if the whole movie were like that, it would be a brilliant movie. But it just falls flat.
Interesting. What would you say your favorite part was?
The end fight scene.
Yeah, I gotta give it to the fight scenes.
Yeah. The
Yep,
fight scenes in general, like, it's either that or the actually no, the fight scenes at the beginning, I feel like, because it showed each character very well.
Oh, like the one in
The
what's it
Babylon.
called? Babylon, yeah.
Yeah. Like, because you have Gilgamesh at the front gates, right? And he's like fighting that big deviant. Yeah, he's like, boom. He's like, that no, right? He was the gatekeeper.
Mhm. No,
You know?
fucking dude. The fight scene's easily my favorite part too.
No.
Which is interesting. I don't usually walk away from a Marvel movie saying the fight scenes are my favorite part, but they're brilliant. Like we've already gone on about it.
Yeah,
they're some of the best action.
they're refreshing.
I genuinely feel like that. Like, and it's quick, it's upbeat, it just keeps you going. Like
you know what's happening, and it's not just like how often it ends up just being a red and a blue beam shooting at each other in the sky.
It feels like Shang-Chi. It really does. Like,
yeah.
Shang-Chi is fantastic action. I love the character beats more in Shang-Chi. That's what kind of makes that movie for me.
Yes. But I feel like
action in this film has the same rhythm. Like, it's fast and quick, and you just enjoy it.
I think this movie overall, I guess we're getting to closing statements, I guess.
Yeah, before we talk about sequel speculation stuff.
Yeah.
What would you like to leave off before we talk about sequel?
This movie, if I were to quote, anything you say doesn't matter. Like, anything you say, somebody has already said better, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to leave it to the ancient Greek myth of Icarus, and I think this movie just flew a little too close to the sun, man. I thought it tried to be different than the formula, and it just didn't work. If it stuck with the formula, I think it might have worked out better.
You know what? I will actually disagree with you.
Really?
I see. Okay. Yes, this movie doesn't stick to the formula.
Like, it would have been better if it stuck to the formula, but it could have been better if it was written better.
I'm glad they tried something different because.
Yeah, same. Oh, for sure, same.
Well, the thing with it is like it's not always going to work, and it's not always going to like it's not. But the important thing is that you're trying something different because that keeps it fresh. So, as far as like first steps into trying something new, I liked it. So I'm like on board. Like yeah, let's it'll get better as we go along. So I don't want to say don't try something new, stick to the formula because.
Oh no!
I'm gonna be honest. Let's be honest. Fucking whatever. There's gonna be other. The next MCU stuff is gonna jump back to that formula eventually.
Spider-Man:
right?
No Way Home.
Yeah. Well, that one might be different because of all the shit that they're throwing in it for no reason.
Fair enough. But like, to backtrack real fast. Sorry to interrupt. I know, but like, I don't discourage them doing stuff that's new. I'm saying, like, if this didn't work, whatever this was, something about it did not work.
Go a different way.
Yeah, it needed to go a different way. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Fly a little lower than the sun.
Yeah.
Don't fly like directly into the sun while crying because of emotional damage.
Man, I wish that fucker was still alive. That's all right.
Hey, he could lead the Avengers.
No, he couldn't, Gabe. He's a bad guy.
Fair enough.
He's terrible. Yeah,
Well, Tony
no.
Stark's a bad guy, depending on your perspective,
Well, it depends on if you're from Sokovia or not.
or the Middle East. But
I guess that's true. Yeah, I know. I think parts of it really worked. Let's focus and expand on those parts.
yes,
I loved it. I didn't love it, but I loved those parts that really worked, and they made the movie overall for me. And I thought it was a good time. Like, I would say, what is it, 29 and 1. I enjoyed the movie. You would probably be, I think you're at like 14 and 13 or something.
14 and 13. What?
29 and 1. That's what the MCU is. I disliked one. 29 wins for the other. So I think you would be at like 20. You would probably be like 18 and.
18 and 12. I feel like would be a good
10.
one. Yeah, 18 and 10, 29 and 1. What? How many movies have come out?
11, 18 and 11. Sorry, my bad.
Dylan, how many movies have come out? 30?
Films? 25?
Yeah. 25.
4 series, 25 movies.
Oh, okay. So
There's been 3
total.
films since.
So you're 28 and 1. Because you said 29 and 1. I'm confused.
You're right. I'm 28 and 1.
Yeah.
So 28 and 1, I think. My math might be wrong. I might be missing. When you get what I'm saying.
Well, we've been doing this for 2 hours.
And it's not 1:30 a.m. Yeah. Let's go. Let's talk about the sequels. Let's talk about what we think. So clearly, let's talk about the first post-credit scene, because even though the second post-credit scene is more exciting.
What was the first one?
Harry Styles shows up.
Oh, that's right.
Eros, the brother of Thanos.
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
Kirby got really excited because he really likes that little the dwarf that came in, I guess.
Yeah.
Is dwarf politically correct? I don't know if that is. The little person?
Gimli is a dwarf. He is a dwarf.
Okay.
He looks like a dwarf.
Okay.
He's not
he's
not
an
a
alien, so I'm guessing
he's not a Gnoblin.
Yeah.
He's a gnome.
You've been gnome. But yeah, he comes in and Eros is going to help them. How did you feel? I didn't really care. I was like, I don't know who that is.
Who?
Starfire, whatever. Firestar, I think is his name. Exactly.
Star Fox.
Star Fox. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember making the joke about like, wait, where's his robot legs?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about this dude from the comics? I don't. So I was like, indifferent. It's
he's a pilot.
He's Thanos' brother.
He's friends with a toad. His nemesis is Wolf, or not a wolf, but Wolf.
Are you making jokes right now?
Yes, I am.
Reflex the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I didn't really care. I don't know why. I mean, I don't understand the significance. Like, I feel like a lot of times the MCU post-credit scenes, like Shang-Chi's post-credit scene is fucking insane.
Oh, yeah.
This one, I was like, okay, I don't really know. I wish I knew more about this, the Eternals comics thing, because maybe then I would be more pumped. But I don't necessarily know where they're going to go with this, besides the fact that Harry Styles is now.
So, from a very credible source, Eternals has never done well in terms of comic book sales. The comics never do well. And so I was very it's interesting to see them do a movie for it anyway.
That's why I'm saying I think it's going to be an Avengers thing when old dude comes back. I don't think that's going to be solved in the sequel. I think that's going to be an Avengers thing, because I think Eternals will get a sequel, but I think having that, like, this be like the Thor to Avengers, do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Makes a lot of sense. Like, Thor set up Loki in that conflict. This one sets up the Celestials and the Eternals in that conflict. So we'll get to see the Eternals fighting with, the Avengers.
Right.
And then maybe one of them rips Bucky in half or something. I don't know. But
oh my God.
But yeah, amazing. I don't know. I didn't really, we'll see what he does. Maybe he's a really cool character in the comics, so we'll see. But as far as Eros, Thanos' brother, was concerned, him being Thanos' brother was probably the coolest part of that reveal. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Do you remember reading Infinity War?
Infinity Gauntlet.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Infinity.
Sure.
I think Infinity War is one too, but Infinity Gauntlet is what Infinity War is basically about. When he kills everybody and rips Iron Man in half.
It's the older one.
Yeah, no, I stole John's copy.
Okay, yeah. That one. So like that guy in like the white and black uniform who's like he's torturing the entire time. Like he originally like, takes away his like mouth so he can't speak.
Thanos is?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Is that who Star Fox is?
Yeah, I think. Eros,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, Eros, the brother of Thanos.
Sorry.
Clearly.
I was looking through the like billing because I was like, oh, that's right, that was Harry Styles for Eros.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, he's the third billed actor on this movie.
Yeah, no, he's Harry Styles, dude.
Which is interesting. And then you know who the second billed person is?
Kumail?
Who?
Kumail?
No.
Kit
Harington. Number one, Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. But what I really wanted to get to, so Phastos' husband, what's the character's name?
John?
Here's a hint. I just said it.
Phastos' husband?
Yes.
They didn't give him an actual name?
They didn't. He is not accredited with a name.
I guess it's not really important.
No, but I think that's so fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Phastos.
He's Phastos' husband.
Yeah, no, it's not really important. I'm sure we'll learn it in future movies.
But so funny to me.
But that is kind of funny. That is kind of funny. Let's talk about the one that I was excited about.
Mahershala Ali saying,
"Oh, bro, you already know it was Blade."
Yeah.
I was hoping to surprise you, bro.
Nah, I know it was Blade, dude.
So we're watching it. Did you know it was Blade when you heard it?
So at first I thought it was Benedict Cumberbatch because I don't have an ear. But then John was like, "No, that's Mahershala Ali."
Kirby goes, "Oh, that was Sam Jackson," and I was like, "No, that didn't sound like Sam Jackson." And then somebody in the audience was like, "No, it's Benedict Cumberbatch," and I was like, "It did kind of sound like Benedict Cumberbatch." And then it got me hyped because I was like, "Oh, it's like a Doctor Strange." And then the other day, let's give a breakdown on post credits. So Kit Harington or Dane is looking at his ancestor's sword, which as soon as he picks up, he'll turn into the Black Knight.
Right.
And then we hear a voice that says, "Are you sure you want to do that?" Clearly, Dane is trying to, in some way, help.
Right.
And find Cersei.
By the way, that's so fucking cute, right? The fact that like he's willing to pick up this ancestral blade and go fight a god.
Yeah, honestly, can I be honest? That post-credit scene did more for their relationship than the rest of the movie.
Yes.
Because I was like, oh, he fucking loves her. He like actually wants to go and save her. And then out of nowhere, completely out of nowhere, for some reason, Blade says, "Are you sure you want to do that?"
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, that's literally what I said as I was getting up. I was like, "Are you sure about that?"
God, we have the same humor. Oh my
I know. It's ridiculous. What did you think? What do you think's going on there?
He's going to be in Blade.
You think so? Because Kirby the other day, he goes...
I think he might be... Bro, hold up.
Kirby the other day, he goes, "I think the Black Knight's going to get his own Disney Plus series."
I could see that too.
Which honestly sounds fucking awesome. Like, that blade, what they did with the blade was fucking cool. Like, where he's putting his hand near it and, like, the little things are going to it.
Yeah, Kit Harington is in the cast for Blade.
They what?
Kit Harington's in the cast for Blade.
Is he already? On Google?
No, I'm messing with you.
Okay, I was going to say, like... Yeah, no, are the Black Knight and Blade intrinsically connected in the comics?
Well, nothing that Google can't fix.
Are you about to look it up? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Are the Black Knight and Blade connected? How the Black Knight is connected to Blade.
Oh, great. Screen rant.
Yep. Yay. I like how we found the same exact article.
Yeah, it was the first one.
So only has a small role to play. Blah, blah.
God, bro. Look at this comic thing of like him. It's Kit Harington in the foreground, but in the background, it's like
Yeah, he's holding it above his head.
Bro,
So
I'm so excited for this. I don't know if it's just my medieval nerd like that's losing its shit, but like it's fucking Jon Snow, dude.
Yeah.
Before they ruined him. It's gonna be badass, bro. I can't wait. So
it looks like they've been. So here's my thing. I wonder if they're gonna do like an occult Avengers.
Like Dark Avengers, like Kirby's talking about all the time?
Right. Where it's more of like magic and like ritualistic BS, like dealing with witches and such. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm so confused. Like, I didn't know the Black Knight and Blade had anything to do with each other.
Yeah, it looks like they do.
What is it saying?
I'm literally like TLDR, but one sec. History in Marvel Comics. Blade speaking to Black Knight and the Eternals is likely to come as a big surprise for most viewers. Don't have a strong connection to the comics. Never mind.
They don't.
This is a classic example of how the MCU can adapt major characters in new ways to fit the shared narrative.
You know what?
They're both members of M1 or MI13, the UK's paranormal agency.
Huh. You know what?
Hmm.
I don't really care, bro. I just think it's so cool that Blade is finally becoming involved. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so curious as to how they're going to do this and not make it rated R or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many questions. First of all, Mahershala Ali is one of the greatest actors I've ever like had the pleasure of watching, especially in this game.
Dude, yeah. He like even Alita, right?
Oh, was he in Alita Battle Angel?
He was in an Alita Battle Angel, and there were moments where like he was on the screen. You're like, dude, this is his movie.
He makes everything he's in. The only time that I would say I was like, oh, okay, this really could have been anybody. He won an Academy Award. Like I was like, oh, this role, you know, it was kind of, you know, it was so for me. And that was in Moonlight.
I was just thinking that, dude.
Hell, and the motherfucker won an Academy Award for it. And I'm like, okay, well, clearly I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he's just, I feel like he wakes up every morning and pisses perfection. Like,
yes.
So good.
He's the motherfucker. He gets up like as soon as like his feet touch the ground, the devil's like, oh shit, he's up.
Yeah. Time to go to sleep.
Yeah. Time to go to sleep.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking pumped, dude. I cannot wait to see what they do. It's gonna be a vampire.
It's gonna be a vampire MCU movie, and I'm here for it, bro.
Bro, just think about this and the fucking Black Knight thing. Like, yes, I feel like the writer had a hard on every time he was thinking about like he was ready to get to the Black Knight.
What's the Black Knight, by the way? Is he just like literally like from so
what he has an ebony blade, right?
Right.
And
somebody described it to me like it's almost like Assassin's Creed-esque, where like their knowledge is passed through the blade.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah. Okay, like where you have a generation, like a shared knowledge throughout the generations.
Yeah. Here's the breakdown on Phantom, and I highly doubt they're going to do this. The ebony blade was a magical blade forged by Merlin and Sir Percy from the Starstone meteorite. The ebony blade was enchanted to cut through any object to prevent the death of its wielder and to deflect any magic, but it also carried a curse which would slowly corrupt any user and cause a lust for violence.
I can dig that, though. I feel like there's a lot of character development you can do with that, character arcs and such.
It's so fucking cool,
dude, and it's that thing I went back to. I always love this trope of like the berserker. You know what I mean? Like Thena earlier, where it's just you have this person who's such a badass, but they can just flip at any
Bro,
moment.
think about, I just keep thinking about how fucking badass it's gonna be to have all your Avengers everywhere, and then there's just a dude running around
with a sword,
with a fucking sword and armor on. Like,
yes, you literally have Jon Snow just riding into fucking battle.
I know, and it's played by fucking Jon Snow.
Yeah.
Like it's such, it's just gonna be so fucking like one. He's already got sword training. Kit Harington's perfect for this role.
Oh, for sure.
He's already got the "I don't want to be king" vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and like he does brooding well too, and like that's what you need for a character like this. You need somebody who can brood. And holy shit, if Kit Harington can't brood, I'll eat my shoe, dude. Holy fuck!
I'm just so excited, bro. Like I couldn't be. I hope on Investors Day on the 12th, they do indeed announce, hey, we're doing a Black Knight Disney Plus series. Because that'll be fucking untouchable. That'll just be great. And yeah, no, I thought that post-credit scene, it was great. It was really, really good. I'm excited, and it makes me more excited. Do you have anything else you want to say about it?
These credits had credits, and no, that's it.
Yeah, I agree. The credits did have credits.
No, like legit, the credits had like credits for the people who made the credits.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Isn't that standard? I think that's standard, isn't it?
Oh, is it? I've never noticed it before.
Yeah. I think it's standard. They have to be billed legally.
You're right.
Because they're in the editor's room, I think. I don't know. Maybe
anyway.
Yeah. Meh. Anyway, that is going to do it for our show, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I think we droned on for about an hour to 2 hours, Gabe.
It was over 2 hours.
You think so?
Yeah, because we started at 12 or almost at 11:30, a little after.
Wow. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Pretty sure we had a good time talking about it, I think. We're appreciative of you listening and hope to have you back when we talk about Doom Patrol Season 3 this Thursday or Friday or whenever it comes out. It'll be out soon. In 2 weeks. Not in 2 weeks. This week. Like I said, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time. That a fucking abysmal outro.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, it was.